Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Chakodash. The blessed to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the whole for the elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled, If They Can't See It Now, They'll Never See It. You know, if they can't see it now, they will never see it. And what are we talking about here? We're talking about this RFID microchip being the mark of the beast. I mean, at this point, if they can't see it, they'll never see it. And this title is really just a figure of speech, you know, because we know that the elect will wake up whenever the Most High choose to. But, you know, it's just becoming more and more evident that this thing right here is the RFID microchip, is the mark of the beast, you know. All the stuff that's coming out, just the way things are trending, paperless. You know, we had a test run with the Stabby Stab 19. You have different whistleblowers, and you have to beg to ask the question, like, you know, if they can't see it, then are they the true prophet to the Lord? I'm talking about these other guys of the IUIC and the ISUPK and these different groups out there, they're leaders. Amos 3:7 says, surely the Lord, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So it's still a mystery to certain individuals, you know. Certain individuals who call themselves prophet of the Most High, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. But if you're a prophet of the Lord, you know, the Most High would have opened up your eyes to this, all right? To the Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse that reads, and he causeth all, both small. Who's the he? The so-called white man. The scriptures tell us that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, you know. So specifically right now, Amalek, you know, but Amalek is an Edomite, and they're running the planet Earth, man. All right, these rich elite bankers, they have major influences in the planet Earth. They, you know, they orchestrate wars. They appoint different politicians. They have leverage over different politicians. They have counsel together, you know, about how they're going to further their agendas, and they'll run these councils, and, you know, they don't care if the implementation of their agendas take 5, 10, 15, 100, even 300 years. You see? Why? Because they understand reincarnation. Revelations 3:16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor. Rich and poor. So right now we're dealing with a mark, right? But let's break it down. The mark is involving your social status, whether you're small or great into a society, and your financial status, whether you're rich or poor. Why would it be mentioning these things if it's talking about, oh, the sin is, I don't know what the fuck they say, man. You know, the sin is Jesus Christos, Cesare Borgia. You see, well, if that's the case, then we all had the damn mark of the beast, man. You see, because a majority of us were so-called Christians before we came into this thing, before we truly understood the true image of the Lord. And Solomon took the mark of the beast. Man, these niggas are bugged out, man. What the fuck are they talking about? It says, rich and poor, free and bond. So whether you're in the system, out the system, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. So this thing ain't sin. The mark of the beast is sin. The fuck are you, yo, man, I really don't get these guys, man. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, I do get them. The Most High has appointed them to be, because the scripture says the deceived and the deceiver are his. So the Most High has appointed the false prophets, a lot of the false prophets, to get the undesirables, all right? To be a stumbling block, all right? This thing is talking about the chip, man. You got all these different whistleblowers and shit coming out, you know? And that's also prophecy. The 17th verse. And that no man might buy or sell. Oh my goodness. So this thing has to do with transaction. That's what this RFID microchip is about. They're talking about XDNA. All right? Tying your DNA to blockchain. All right? They're talking about stablecoin, right? Backing US dollars to a crypto digital currency. What more? Like, you think they're just doing this thing for the fuck of it? Like, let's just do this for the fuck it. Let's just do it. No, man, they have an agenda behind this thing, and the agenda lines in accordance with this chip. Man, these people are wild, man. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding, and that's what these guys don't have. They don't have the understanding. The Most High hasn't given them the understanding. It says, count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 636, which also goes back to your UPC barcode, right? 666. All right, which has to do with what? Transactions, man. They trying to make you a fucking human transactional merchandise. You know, they trying to scan, like, just like how you scan something at the register, you know, that UPC code, that's how they gonna do with you. All right, but that RFID microchip is gonna have huge implications, man. All right, they trying to tie that stuff to your DNA, man. They could turn off your chip. Like, you got to think about it like this, right? With an RFID microchip, right? You could output information. You could output signals, right? So if you could output signals, then wouldn't it be fair to say one could input signals? You know, you could turn off your car or turn on your house and do all these sorts of things with your RFID microchip. But what about the input signals that Esau could put? You see, and that's what it's about. It's about total control. This devil wants to be like the Most High, how the Most High is omnipresent, omnipotent, controlling everything. That's how this man wants to be. And that's what that RFID microchip will do. Okay? Damn near give this man power to off you. Okay? Which again, it's if that is the case, it's still sanctioned by the Most High. I hope there's no confusion there. But that's what is in his mind. That's what Nick Rockefeller said. You got an issue, you got a problem, we just turn your chip off. People like Nick Rockefeller, recent people in the alternative media space coming out with this information. You have people that was once a part of that world, ex-CIA, ex-FBI, ex-whatever government official they were, all right? They coming out and telling you some of the agenda they have in store. But guess what? This is the book of Psalms chapter 64 verse 8. It says, so shall their own tongue so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. You see? So you have illuminaries and lesser illuminaries spilling the beans. You know, we had John Todd in the 70s, which he brought out, you know, not everything he said was on point, but he brought out a lot of shit about how this industry works, the music industry and the occult side of it and things. You see, all that see them shall flee away. And I think John Todd is a primary example that, you know, you have different levels, all right, of this information, because John Todd, he was up there in terms of, you know, they knowing how the music industry work and the Council of Foreign Relations and these different occult shit, but he didn't get that far to know he was an Edomite. He went back to so-called Jesus Christ. So it shows you that this, you know, and I know this for a fact that there's different levels of what they tell you, you know. Now, I had a friend back when I used to skateboard. His dad was a Freemason. This was back in high school, and we was getting onto this whole secret society shit. And we was like, damn, your dad's a Mason? And I think, you know, he was like a 32nd, 33rd degree. Now, he could have just been could be lying to us, could not be, I don't know. But he was like, yeah, a lot of that stuff, man, that's just conspiracy. You know, you get with them. He's basically saying the Masons are pretty much like a fraternity, which they do act like a fraternity in a way. But he might have not got to the level of the next step. You know, that could probably be like 20, 30 years in before they start really open up a lot of shit to you, you see? So you could have been there maybe 10, 15 years and truly just believe, hey, there's just a fraternity of brothers. You know? But at the very top of this thing, they know. I'm talking about the very top. These devils know that they Edomites, man. They know what time. They have too much information to not know. The same way we could dig up and look at archaeological evidence and go into books and all that. The so-called white man, the scriptures tell you he make a diligent search. All right, so they know these things. They know the devil knows he has but a short time. So guess what? moving shit along, speeding things up. And these prophets can't see that. These guys that's calling themselves prophets, so they're not true prophets of the Lord, man. Because it's too fucking evident right now. Pardon my language, it's too evident right now. All right? So either they bought out, either they were sold out, you know, they took a purse, or they just know that they're elect. This is the book of Romans chapter 11, verse 7. It says, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for. Now, what's our people? Israel, by the way, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans on their father's lineage. What are they seeking for? They're seeking for the truth. They're trying to seek the higher power. Is there higher power? That's how come our people get into so many different philosophies. The scriptures say they drunk off wine. No other nation really do that. Like, you don't really see, you know, a bunch of Moabites and all, and Pan-Africanism and Hinduism and Buddhism. You don't really see the other nations. The other nations pretty much stick to their gods, which are no gods, which it says in the book of Jeremiah. They don't abandon their gods, really. Jake is the one that be playing the whore. All right? Our people be into every damn thing, and they get so into shit, they'll be more into than the nations. You know? You come across a Jake that's a Buddhist, he'll go into some whole type of shit like, damn. You see? But that's the nature of being an Israelite. Whatever you put your spirit into, you go extra hard with it. So that's Jake, man, typically playing the harlot. That's what brought us here into captivity. Jake going off. You see? So they're always trying to obtain a higher power. But guess what? Only the elect of the nation of Israel is going to find the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Not only attain Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but retain Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You see? Because being called is much more different than being chosen. When we talking about the elect, we're talking about the chosen. Okay, and we don't know who the chosen are until we on them ships. Okay, at least for certain. But guess what? There will be telltale signs. Hey, that man is doing what the elect will do. You see, giving diligence, making his calling the election, giving diligence, making their calling the election short, and breaking down these prophecies the right way according to the Holy Spirit, according to the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And that's what's happening here. Starting with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstones, the bishops, the elder brothers, all the brothers on down. See? So this is why we keep bringing up the mark of the beast, because it's pivotal, man. All right? Like, it's a huge, major prophecy. And for these guys to undermine it and even mock the prophets of the Lord, like I said, they either took that purse, okay, or they just not of the elect. Either way, it's not good. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, the understanding of the mark of the beast and other things. And the rest were blinded, right? Spiritually blinded, right? Because they could see physically with their eyes and shit, you know, but they're spiritually blinded. And that just goes back to what Isaiah says. Isaiah 6 and 9, you know? And the Apostle Paul mentions that in the 8th verse. He says, according as it is written, the Most High has given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day. You know, that shows you too that the heavenly, like I just mentioned, the deceived and the deceiver is. The Most High don't want every Israelite to get it. All right, there's scriptures in the book of Romans, the 9th chapter, tells us that they're not all Israel, which are of Israel. If the Most High wanted all his people to get it, there'll be one camp. We'll all be speaking the same thing, but the fact that we're not all of one mind, at least when it comes to different camps, that right there lets you know the Most High is not with all Israelites getting this thing, man. And the Most High has never been that way. The Most High has never dealt with all Israel, really. You know, the Most High has always dealt with the elect. You know, in the kingdom, that's when Yahweh Shem Yahushua will be dealing with all Israel, man. You see what I'm saying? All Israel, all Israelites. And this also proves it too. The 9th verse says, and David saith, let their table be made a snare, meaning when they go to eat, you know, eat what? Eat this knowledge, eat the scriptures, eat this roll, as they say, the term food for thought. It says, let their table be made a snare. And it has become a snare. This mark of the beast thing has become a snare to a lot of these guys where they can't get it. And the Most High don't open their eyes, they never will. It says, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. See, so the Most High is fulfilling the word, fulfilling the promise, all right, he made to David. And that Well, you know, I mean, look, it's been that way before David, but that prayer that David put out, you know, it came to pass. You know, because a lot of these scriptures, they go into it, they choke on it and die. They just can't get it. They get confused. But the prophets of the Lord do get it. Well, that's it right there. That's the point. Approaching my destination. So I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Ruach HaKodash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the whole elect out there. You Akim, that's the Dakim that do this thing in the most truth and sincerity. Shalom.